Thank you for visiting JSH Insights. This is a guided mindfulness meditation, preceded by some brief comments just for context. This recording is offered freely. If you find it has value for you, I hope you'll consider making a donation of support at jshinsights.com/donate. Thank you.
We've been talking over the last few weeks about some of the challenges that there are when we sit for meditation, as we sort of find our way into a more reflective, open state from our conditioned kind of thinking world. There seem to be kind of two different worlds that we navigate. And a lot of the challenges come because we're asking ourselves to do something different than we're used to. And most of us don't really like change, as you know. At least that's true for me. So it can be disconcerting when the ground of what we think our experience is and what we expect becomes a little less reliable. And that can cause some anxiety. And so there's always this kind of ping-ponging back and forth between the two states. And that can be uncomfortable. And so we often look to spiritual teachings, that kind of thing, for descriptions or metaphors that can help us make sense of the seeming differences between these two states. The thought-based state, the daily thing that we use, that sort of relational thing, and then the more reflective and just sort of open awareness state. So I think it's useful in this regard to go back to the definition of meditation, really, which is actually creating an open space where we can get to know our minds better, is really the simplest way to say it, I think. And it's our mind, all parts of our mind that seem to be particular and unique from one from the other, that kind of thing. So we're trying to just open space so that we can inquire. And in a way, we're kind of setting up a laboratory where we can continually explore and inquire into our own understanding of what we're experiencing. And we can see those moments sometimes where we might be in our own way with our conditioned thinking. We're the one that's causing the trouble. But we can also have real insights or glimpses into what's really going on and what's really true in this open space that we're creating. And choosing to open to awareness in this way, really, I think, is the gift of meditation. It's a gift to us, but also the work we do is kind of a gift to those around us, too, as we become less reactive and more open. And the idea of openness has to do with a couple things. One is not clinging to the things that the way we've always done it. So we don't have to hold on to that. Can we see if we can let go? That's a phrase that you often hear. But the opposite side is also true. We don't want to push away things that are new that might make us uncomfortable. So those two aspects are really part of this. And one insight that can arise is the awareness that our conditioned thinking, our object-based state, is the very same field of awareness that knows this broader, deeper wisdom. And they're not different. We seem to think that these two minds are different, except that our awareness, this open field of potentiality, I guess I would call it, is we know both of these things. And so we're trying to come to some kind of equanimity or some kind of balance about those things. So for example, you've heard the saying that we don't have to believe our thoughts. And we know for one thing, at least from Buddhist teachings, is that thoughts are impermanent. They come and they go. They don't really hang on. And seeing that little tiny insight, the truth of that, allows us to ask, well, then what is true in this moment? If I don't have to believe my thoughts, what is true? That's an important question to start asking. And if we go to this dimension of more open awareness, what will wisdom from there offer us? What does it open up as we interact with this seeming inner and outer worlds that we always do? So for example, we can see with the conditioned thinking mind that we often set up things like comparing ourselves to others. We have judgment. There's this idea of inclusion versus exclusion that we always come into contact with. And what this really is saying, at least in my mind, is that there's an implicit assumption that there's a problem. and we're trying to fix the problem. And that's what the thinking mind is kind of geared towards, problem solving. And one of my early teachers asked the simple question about this. He goes, well, what if there's no problem here? What if there's just what's happening? What if I don't attach a story to experience? And he also described that when viewing experience from open awareness, the one thing you notice is that there's no fixer involved. It's just opening. It's just being with experience as it is. And there's a kind of freedom in that. There's not this kind of hanging on to take care of something or to fix something. So meditation really is all about creating this open space, connecting to our own open awareness, and try to directly be with things that the way they are, just as they are. We're just open. We don't have to reach perfection. This also doesn't mean we have to be passive about life. Rather, it's sort of opening the possibility that instead of just reacting, we can act with wisdom and skill from this more open space, because we have a bigger picture, our viewpoint is clearer, that kind of thing. And we're really just trying to find a way to be with experience that has this feeling of balance, of equanimity. So those are the things that I think we can get from this meditation thing, even though there are challenges and some discomfort along the way, because it's different. And they also call it a practice. So doing it over and repeating it is what gives us this opportunity to explore even more. And in that way, too, we also want to bring kindness and compassion and friendliness to ourselves for even choosing to do it. So I think that's an important thing, too. We can be kind to ourselves as we go through this, even with the challenges. So I'm going to ring our little bell, and we'll begin with a mindfulness meditation. So let's begin by taking a couple of deep breaths. Breathe in and breathe out. Breathe in and breathe out. And as you exhale, try to relax the best you can. Let go of thoughts and concerns of the day. And try to just rest in this present moment and just in this open awareness, knowing that right now there's nowhere to go. There's nothing to do. And there's no one to be. And also here at the beginning, you can bring your attention to your current state of mind, your feeling state, your mood. And we really do this here at the beginning to notice what it is we're bringing to meditation. And particularly, we want to notice what impact those things might have on being able to sit with ease, to feel at home, to be our true selves. And so if there's anxiety or disquiet of any kind that you're feeling, you can see if you can soften it or relax it, or even set it aside for these few moments. And if you've come already calm and relaxed, then see if you can open even farther into the open awareness and just rest in the moment. And then from this direct experience, bring your attention to your body sitting here. Begin to notice sensations that arise in your awareness. And there'll be some obvious ones. You'll probably notice your seat on the cushion, your feet on the floor, your posture. Just notice any sensations that arise from those places. But you can also do a quick scan through the rest of your body to see what sensations appear. And pay particular attention to places where you might be holding on to tension or tightness or even physical discomfort. And again, see if you can relax and soften those areas. Lots of us hold tension in our shoulders. Maybe you can check to see if there's tightness there and relax your shoulders. Or you might notice that your jaw is tight and your teeth are clenched. And see if you can relax the jaw, unclench the teeth. And really, wherever you sense this feeling of contraction or tightness, just see if you can relax and soften those areas. And again, this is all in service to being at ease, feeling at home. And then again, from this direct experience of being in your body, move your attention to the breathing and to the breath. And notice first how the body is experiencing breathing. And we just want to be with the breath. We don't want to control it or alter it in any way. It's a little more like being a close companion. We want to be there, but we don't want to interfere. And there's so much to notice about all of the movements and phases of each breath that we can pay attention to. So for example, see if you can be with the inhale from beginning to end. And the exhale from beginning to end. And just one breath at a time, which is just a reminder to be in the moment, to be here and now. We don't want to anticipate a future breath. We don't want to stay stuck with a breath that already happened. We just want to be here now, aware of this natural process that doesn't require our thinking about it to work. And again, just really feel what it's like to breathe. Now, with all of the different kinds of things we can pay attention to, it can be useful to notice if there's a place where you're noticing breathing most directly, most predominantly right now. Now, for some of us, we'll be noticing the body moving. So it's like the rise and fall of the chest, or the expansion of the abdomen. But there are many subtle things you might be noticing too. Some of you may notice the sensation of air as it passes the tip of the nose, as it enters and leaves the nostrils. And even more subtly than that, you may notice there's a temperature change in that air. The air is cool going in and warm going out. So let's just take a couple moments just to be with the breathing, noticing where we're experiencing it most directly, not controlling it or altering it. And in this way, see if we can just stay with the breath without being pulled away in any way. Now, at some point, for most of us, probably all of us, you've noticed that thoughts have already appeared in your mind as you sit. And you notice that sometimes in a way like the mind has wandered or you've gotten stuck on a particular thought. All of those things are perfectly normal. We just want to notice them very lightly without any judgment, because the mind is really doing what it was made to do. So there's not a problem here. But in our willingness to be open to anything and everything that arises, we kind of want to stay at the upper level of processing. So we want to notice that thinking is happening, but we don't want to get caught in the contents of the thoughts. Those are the things that usually pull us away, take us away from the present moment. So see if you can just be with the breath. If you notice a thought, notice it, let it pass. And to the extent we're able to do this or stay at this upper level of just processing, we start to notice some things about thoughts, the nature of thoughts themselves. Primarily, we notice that they come and go. They're impermanent. And something else you can see, that as you notice the thoughts leaving, right there, you can notice an opportunity where you can remember to return to the breath. And that's all we have to do, return and just begin again. We don't want to stay with judging the wandering mind. We want to find that opportunity as thoughts go and just return. This also holds true with feelings if they arise as you sit in meditation, which they often do. But just like we did with thoughts, we kind of want to stay at this sort of processing level. So we want to notice that feeling is happening. But again, we don't want to get caught in the stories about those feelings, because that just pulls us away, either to the past or to the future. So it takes us away from the present moment. And just like thoughts, feelings are impermanent. They also come and go. And so there's also this opportunity to find that space as a feeling dissipates or leaves. We can return right to the breath and just begin again. So let's just take a couple moments just to notice this interplay in your own experience. What is this like? What are you experiencing? And this is really the whole idea behind mindfulness meditation. We begin by placing a light focus on an object of meditation, which today is the breath. And then when the mind interacts with the world, which it will, we notice it. But we don't cling to it, we don't push it away. We notice the thoughts coming and going, and then we remember to return to the breath. And in this way, the breath becomes our stable foundation, our home base. And on a practical level, this is really important because the breath is always with you wherever you are. So you can always take a pause. You can always take a breath and notice this anchoring, this home base feeling. And also as our practice develops and over time, there are some important aspects of awareness itself that start to become clearer also. And one of the things you may notice right away, or you have noticed, is that there's an expanded sense of awareness. Sometimes you have this feeling that it's way beyond the confines of your physical body, for example. But even with this expanded feeling and understanding of awareness itself, at the same time, you're aware of your breath. And it's all the same awareness. And it's really, awareness is really this field in which all of our experience appears. All the potentialities. And it's all the same awareness. And then as you're able to stay more open, more of the time with practice, you also start noticing some things about the nature of awareness itself. For one thing, you notice that sort of that need I think all of us have that need for a play-by-play commentary about what's going on. That starts to quiet. And we also notice we start becoming less reactive. Because it's happening in such a big context that things don't take on an unnatural primacy. We can sort of let them be part of everything that's going on. So we're less reactive in that way. And again, we remember that thoughts come one after another, and they leave one after another. And we make no effort to cling to them to stay, and we make no effort to push them away to leave. We are just present with the experience and the gentle noticing. And again, it's important to remember that if the mind wanders, we don't want to get stuck judging it. The gift here in meditation is not ever wandering. It's in remembering we can return. So we don't really want to get stuck in that sort of attachment to a negative feeling. We just want to know it happened. But we can always find the opportunity to return to the breath. So let's just rest for a couple of moments. And just in your own experience, just notice what's happening. Try to stay open. Just notice what's going on. If thoughts arise, just know that they're impermanent. They will also go. So just be with them. And now as we prepare to bring this meditation to a close, you might want to take a couple of breaths that have a little more energy to them as you intentionally expand your awareness back to the room around you. And maybe take in some more sounds or more sensations. And then in your own time, you can open your eyes and we'll bring the meditation to a close. So thank you very much, everyone. Great to be with you on this Wednesday morning.
Thank you, Jon. Thank you, Jon.
And I hope you all have a peaceful day in quarantine. So, and I'll see you all very soon. All right. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye, everyone.